Hello, what's good, and welcome to College Deadlock. It's a great day today. We've got Penn State going up against Iowa State University. And I mean, this one is a big deal. Obviously, I think, maybe not so obviously. In the world of collegiate traditional sports, these are big name teams. And one of the cool things, Seymour, is that here in the world of collegiate esports, Penn State's still a big name team. They do work in both sides of the world, and I like to see that.
Well, I mean, it's a big match even for College Deadlock for both of these two. They're feeling good going out through the season, some heavy hitters meeting up, and now we get to see kind of, again, do these powerhouses have an edge over each other, which is kind of one of the things in like College Deadlock and college esports all around is what I'm excited for, because you get matchups that you're just like, okay, well, we got favorites going into it. Then we have matchups where we're like, okay, this is going to decide maybe even in the future who potential champions are going to be. And I have a lot of stocks in this ISU team. They're always a great team to watch, and I'm excited to see them take the stage again today.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, like you said, these teams have been playing sort of like in a circuit, a season, a league type deal. The L word's a big one, so I don't want to really say league, but it's been a consistent circuit for these guys to really jump in and make it happen. So, let's hit it. Draft coming at you here, and we've got Qbert. This is Qbert's squad for Iowa State. You mentioned them. Qbert, Seneca Nightmare, Zeb, Sam, and PKRR. We've seen them a couple of times here on the broadcast, on the big stage. What's your takeaway for ISU?
Well, this ISU team is always strong. I mean, we've seen them take on Nebraska Lincoln. We've seen them hit the stream and take on teams like Drexel in the past as well, and they always look good. Strong, one might add. I mean, Qbert, more of like a powerhouse, really strong, heavy carry. Seneca,
he's fun to watch.
Player for the team, yeah, and a couple of new additions from since the last time I've seen them as well. A very fresh roster. It seems like things have swapped up in terms of who's going to be on it, and I think that Penn State are going to have their hands full.
Yeah, I mean, and as far as our standings are concerned, like I said, we've been playing sort of a circuit. We've got 8 teams in this Group B. Iowa State University is 4-1, sitting in the 2nd seed, and Penn State University is 4-2 in that 3rd position slot. So either if Penn State wins ahead and grabs the victory, they shift up an entire slot to that 2nd position. So it's definitely one of the big ones for Penn State. Iowa State University, I mean, if they wind up with the L, well, they're still just tied with Penn State. But I don't know, ties, they're simply unsuitable. That's where I come from. You got to be aware.
They are. And one of the last times I saw this PSU team on stream was when we got to see them play Texas Tech, and another one where they come out victorious. And it was one of the first early teams that I really saw adapting into, bringing in things like the Viper or bringing in things like the Calico. And, you have those additions that you see that the flexibility and the proactivity to add these new heroes to your composition was there back then. Now they've had time with the retool of the map, with the retool of certain heroes. Things are going to definitely necessarily look different, but more solidified for this team. So coming into the draft stage, a team like Iowa State and Penn State definitely going to have their homework done, looking into both of these teams, who to ban, who to look to prioritize, and already we can see 2 bans coming out, the Vindicta and the Dynamo.
Kind of not quintessential bans. The Mirage first pick overall makes sense. I mentioned it every time. He simply just breaks the rules of Deadlock. Ain't nobody have a global teleport ultimate but Mirage. So pick him and you can defend all of the split pushes. Great choice. But the bans are a little weird. Vindicta is very, very strong, picked nearly all the time, but seems to be just below the world of the holiday bans and the calico bans or whatnot. And same thing with the Fat Man. Dynamo comes through and is a great initiator, but we see more of a focus on Kelvin bans if you're going to ban out the utility guy, or even a Lash ban every once in a while. So
yeah,
I don't hate it. It's just different from what I'm used to. The first picks, though, the Mirage and then the Paradox, that's right on the money.
It goes hand in hand. You know, it's like, I don't think it would be right to see a first pick that isn't something like a Paradox when it's up and not banned right off the bat. Mirage as well. I like that from you. I mean, if you need somebody to cover your bases, Mirage is the guy to do that. You can TP wherever you need to be. You can cover, you can support, you can engage. So many options, especially considering you scale high with that gun damage. But you look to the Grey Talon. Lots of people picking up the Grey Talon, and I love that. When Vindicta is banned, Grey Talon is right there. So much spirit damage, so much lockdown capabilities, especially with the guided owl that can, you know, go from lane to lane, stun something, set you up for success. And that small little buffer of a stun from that guided owl can be enough to find a kill and snowball.
Yeah, I mean, that's really where I look at is the ultimate coming out from Grey Talon. What I wind up seeing a lot of the times in a couple of the circuits that I wind up doing some Deadlock commentary in, even on Fight Night, I see that, like, Grey Talon gets played. Grey Talon does a ton of damage, but it's hard to really find where that damage happened. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it's not impactful damage. It's the other DPS that wind up stealing the spotlight. Something I got to look at more, to be honest with you. You know, the Wraith character. If it's
I see what you're coming from, too.
Yeah, so it's curious to see it this early in the draft.
And everybody's like, oh, the Paradox, oh, the Mode Krill, like all those huge, glorious plays that you get from these heroes. And then there's Grey Talon, who's just, it's consistent damage. The charge shot not only hits one, but multiple, especially in those team fights. And it's just, it is that burst damage that Grey Talon does from afar that sneaks up on you and snatches those kills, which is why I think that Grey Talon is big. Bebop alongside it, too. I mean, you're just having so much lockdown capability now on the side of Penn State University with the hook, with the paradoxical swap, and even with the immobilizing trap that Grey Talon has as well. Not really different on Iowa State. I think when you're mixing in any composition, Mo and Krill is a standout. Very successful, especially after the retool of the map and the rework has looked at. Mo and Krill has almost been like the forefront of being like that pseudo tank, pseudo brawler in that front line trying to trap people down. And when you're looking at where Penn State are building with a whole bunch of lockdown, then you add in a support like the Kelvin, where that frozen shelter is going to kind of deny that. Keep your team healthy, keep your team up, and it's a really good addition to this team.
Kelvin is always, I think Kelvin is one of the, if I'm coaching a team, Kelvin is near the top of my draft. I think nobody does what Kelvin does. I think Kelvin Dome shuts down a lot of what people want to do, whether it's Abrams, whether it's Lash, even if it's just straight up DPS. Put the Dome, you got to go home. Like, I just love this character. I think he's so impactful. Penn State University on the other side, as we jump into our, and kind of expected a little bit of these bans here, but I want to talk about our first half of the draft for Penn State. They go ahead and they select the flyer and then the two anti-flyers. I'll be straight up and down. I don't love the Bebop. I think there are better choices overall in the game right now.
Really?
And the Paradox is good, sure. I like the Paradox, I love the Paradox, and I'm fine with the Bebop. I might even like the Bebop in this draft specifically because they're pretty hard counters to your flyer. So you've taken them to prevent the opponent from drafting them themselves. Big picture, we'll see how it all shakes out. But Penn State really protecting their great talent here by selecting those lockdown characters. So there's a method to the madness.
Interesting, because like Bebop's just one of those heroes that I feel like can do so much damage in terms of the bomb stacking, and then you're trying to rotate from lane to lane, and then you're snatched just like that. And with the length of that hook, I feel like it's so easy to just place somebody out of position when they weren't originally. And that is like, it's another just one of those setups for a team like the paradoxical swap, where you could just be caught off guard as an opponent. And I think that that alone is a really good tool to have. And then as soon as that person is hooked, if you have somebody next to you, you burst them, and you burst them fast, and they're just blown up in an instant. And I think that's where Bebop just gets their strength, is by displacing you where you don't want to be.
Yeah, but you know what's good against that? You know how you outplay that? You don't get hooked. Like, just don't get hit, dude.
I'm going to tell my teammates that, too. That is some grade A analysis coming out from FDOT. Just don't get hooked.
Don't get hooked.
I love it. You know what? You can even say to the fact that you add a Kelvin there. If you do get hooked, then the Kelvin can go in, frozen shelter you to keep you alive. But it just, that also takes the Kelvin out of position. And then you're fighting on Penn State's turn when that frozen shelter is done. And I think that it's just, you have those heroes that set you up to fight on your battlefield.
You look at Iowa State, what they've got, and we'll touch on the bans real quick on the Lash and the Yamato. The Lash makes sense. Iowa State, they've got the Moe and Krill, but they don't have like a real traditional initiator. So the Lash, you're going to prevent them from taking that one. And then the Yamato ban out of Iowa State. I think that Yamato is just a strong character. Makes the laning phase a little bit easier compared to some of the other choices. And so, sure, just ban the good stuff, essentially. But I'm looking at this Penn State draft, and I'm a little concerned about their front line. I think that Geist is a strong front line. I'm not taking anything away from her, but I the Bebop, the Izzy, or the Ivy rather, leaves a little to be desired. One more selection, I would need it to be an Abrams or like one of these trad tanks. Yeah.
Give me an Abrams, give me Warden, give me something that's got that oomph to it. Maybe even a Viscus, if you really dare say so. But it's a Wraith instead. And, it's that Buster, that heavy output damage for guns, for spirit, whatever you want there. Wraith kind of does it all in terms of the speed of the attack that you have there for Penn State. I still think I agree with you. They're lacking a little bit of that front line, that tank essence that you normally see with compositions. Iowa State, they have that with the Moe and Krill. And that's going to make it a little difficult to sustain on Penn State's side. And then you look beyond Iowa State, you got, what a team is this one. The magnificent Sinclair. I don't think I've seen Sinclair get picked in forever.
He's powerful. Having the changing ultimate's a big deal. It makes him very, very flexible, changes the way you look at the entire draft. So having that having that character be selected last winds up being really impactful. You see the Magician locked in, and then Penn State goes, what did we give them? Oh no, what did we give them? So now Iowa State has a pull. They've got a paradoxical swap. They've got Ivy Fly if they want to go be cute with the urn. Like, you've got a whole lot of options by going this way. And then, his damage is just really strong as well. Like, that winds up being a big part of it. This character was top pick, top ban just a couple of weeks ago.
I'm trying to think, what you would grab here. I'm definitely the paradoxical swap if you can get it. But, then you got to think even further than that. What if you just grab a Hyper Beam in a team fight and then just, bam, you are doing so much with the Kamehameha. That's just, you can't do anything if you're Penn State at that point. You just, unless your Bebop's able to hook that, you're just taking so much damage layered on top of the spirit damage of the 7, the combo of the Moe and Krill, Mirage, you add that into there. There's a reason why Sinclair's getting picked here, and I think that you make exactly the point there. It's just the versatility, the diversity that he can bring to your team is just second to none.
Ultimately, I'm looking at both of these drafts, and Iowa State, I think, presents something a little bit more interesting to me. Raw power, I think Iowa State winds up higher on the raw power list. I look at characters like Calico, I look at characters like Kelvin, I look at characters like Mirage, I look at characters like Sinclair, and I think that these guys are just good Deadlock heroes, full stop. I look over at Penn State, and I think that Wraith is still bonkers. And you mentioned Grey Talon's been having his time in the sun. Paradox is dope. But like, the raw strength isn't there. By no means does that mean it's a bad draft. Penn State has to show me why they went this direction. I think they've got a little bit of a weak front line. It's going to be a lot on Geist's shoulders. And I think our Bebop will be going into a tank build. So, show me. I'm not hating on it yet. And if you've watched, I'm down to hate, but I'm not hating on it just yet. I want to be I want you to tell me what's going on here, and after we see some gameplay, I think we'll get a little bit of an idea.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. There's going to be a lot on the shoulder of the Geist and the Wraith in particular, and the amount of scaling that they can do. If they're winning their lanes, then they're going to be feeling good for Penn State. But if you're losing your lanes, then that is where I think that this Iowa State team is going to quickly pull ahead. And you look at, Geist and Wraith, and then next thing you know, if they are finding success there, it's just then in our heads are like, oh, hey, look, the Grey Talon's going to be there too. We're getting a lot of damage coming out from Grey Talon in that backline. But I do agree. I think Iowa State won the draft. I want Penn State to prove me wrong for this. I think that just when I'm looking at this face value, it looks like Penn State are stuck a couple patches behind. Like, if this was a couple patches ago and I'm looking at this composition, I'm going crazy for it. Because this is like a very, very older composition that a lot of teams ran as a very standard composition. But then Iowa State, they got the fresh new power carries. 7 just shows me that they've been practicing at the best. Calico as well has so much 1v1 potential. And then you add Sinclair in there, and it's just that Sinclair is one of those heroes that I think has such a high skill ceiling that some people are afraid to grab it.
That part.
But not Iowa State.
Definitely agree with that. I think, when you've got the magic missile and you're trying to, deke it around a corner, that winds up being difficult, and trying to maximize this damage is really what it is. The assistant damage, that's kind of what I was talking about. I mentioned Changeling and then his damage output, specifically the assistant damage output. You're just getting double shots every single time. So, he just comes out being like a conquistador, just slamming double shots, and that winds up adding up over the course of the laning phase.
We get started in week 7 of College Deadlock with Penn State University and Iowa State University out of Group B, fighting for that second seed to see who is going to be just under Nebraska-Lincoln, sitting at 7-0. Inside of their group, untouched by anyone else. And we can take a look overall at the lanes and how they're spread out. Look towards lane 1 over on the far left. 7 and Mo and Krill up against an Ivy and a Grey Talon. You are going to be stuck underneath Guardian forever if you're bot Brendan and Funzi. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to breathe, because if you step up, the Mo and Krill's going to grab you.
That's true, but I do think that they've got some good equilibrium as far as the kudzu is concerned. Listen, 7 is, you're totally right. 7 is the #1 lane clearer. He's the mage. I understand the magician is in the game. Let's walk past that. He's the lane clearer, right?
Yeah.
Ivy with the kudzu bomb does a ton of work to troopers. So if played carefully, and right there we saw what you were talking about, the audacity of the pig just walking up and looking to punch. As long as Ivy can kind of stay away and just chuck this grenade from a distance, the clear should be there, but you've got to play for the troopers and not for the tussle.
Hey, in an instant, you got sand in your eye, and then you're stunned up from the static charge, and you got to back even further. No, I think I see what you're picking up. Funzi, it's the passive farming coming out from Penn State that's going to keep them, I'd say, safe under tower. Lane 2, lane 3. I'm going to put some eyes on this is the Bebop and the Lady Geist. One thing that you wanted to see is this Lady Geist really farm, get ahead of the game, and you pair it with a Bebop, and hopefully you can set up some easy kills for Yikyo on this Lady Geist. I don't hate this pairing, especially considering Calico on the other side. If you could shut down this Calico, that is a huge win for Penn State.
Big point there for sure. Well, Geist going to fall down, which kind of goes directly to what I was going to talk about is Geist is, the base value on her abilities is just strong. She throws the grenade at you, and at this point in the game, you lose 50% of your HP. And so pairing her up with the Snatcher, you throw a grenade, you land a good hook, and all of a sudden, somebody dies. It's very important to keep Kiko down and make sure that the Geist player doesn't get off the ground, essentially. So that first blood going in the direction of Lady Geist is exactly what ISU wants to see.
And of course, Penn State's still under tower inside of lane 1. We're getting around the 4-minute mark soon enough. We're at 5, and that's when farming gets even further up. Static charge into it, and they just run down Brendan. So great talent killed by Qbert. It's going to leave the rest in trouble. Peel coming through from Funzi to at least see if you can keep the troops away from this Guardian, but Funzi's got to be careful not to die themselves.
Yeah, really well played by Iowa State there in the left lane. Just making sure to, like I said, there is a way out of for Penn State of this catastrophe. Just passively farm, throw the grenade, walk away, don't take the fight. Iowa State saw what was going on, and they said, listen, we are just going to walk into your house, deal with us. And Penn State just didn't run away fast enough. Like, it was a little rough, but that all-out aggression certainly worked for Iowa State in the left lane, and now they're trying some of that out in the right lane, or rather, in the right lane again. My bad.
Yeah, I think that if there's anywhere where Penn State should be putting some focus on, it is at shutting this Calico down. You can see them try to force her away, force in the dash, and the leaping slash at least going to keep you behind natural cover, so not a lot of damage taken. And you have the Calvin alongside you just to heal you back up, so Calico in no trouble at all.
This is the character that you got to look out for as far as transitioning from lane to lane. Obviously, the Ava speeds that up, but Paradox speedily losing all their HP.
Oh boy.
Good kill for the Mirage off of the hit of the Magician, so just kind of stuck. Nowhere for the Paradox to go. Can't knock that one. This one, on the other hand, though, stuck between left and right. The flank coming around from the backside. And a troublesome spot in the mid lane. Yeah,
and they grabbed the telekinesis there. Seneca wanted to use Wraith against her. So here we go. Tornado in. See if you can finish this off. Schmargo. That needs some help, and the help has arrived. Although, don't know if Tiny Moo is going to prove too much of a threat right now to Nightmares. So keeping the pressure up there. Iowa State looking fantastic so far in the early game. And Penn State need to figure out where are they going to find their advantages back from this. Stormcloud used to get some early pressure onto that Guardian as well. They just want to steamroll lane 1 so that they can start to get this Moan Krill active.
Yeah, and I love this choice. This all-out aggression. I don't really think there's going to be a threat here. The Guardian should just fall. That's first Rebel. And when it comes down to it, yeah, listen, you took this Guardian. Now you can leave. It really is just that simple. You stick to the lane, you push up a little bit, and now you've got sort of credence to walk away, go to the mall, beat up the mid lane. And that's really why you're looking for those early wins. Wraith in some trouble here, but a good swap will get the threat out of the way. Because of that, Iowa State has to walk backwards. Beep, beep.
And again, I mean, that's just a moment that you're using your ultimate defensively, where this Paradox is going to want to start using it offensively eventually as soon as you scale up. And it's just moments like that where Iowa State are not allowing you to have that chance. So this pressure definitely setting a precedence early on. Funzi almost going down, able to escape slowly. Lightning bolts to clear out the troops, not giving up on this pressure over towards lane 1. Moan Krill happy to just keep farming and get as powerful as possible through this lane. Well, the chances there.
They've shifted over to the jungle real quick. I would love to see Iowa State just all-out push into this mid lane, leave 7 on the left side maybe, and just bring the Moan Krill. Either way, I want to see an assistance in this mid. Wraith gets picked up and slammed down. The rest of the fight going to continue here over in the mid lane. Half HP onto the telekinesis target and brings it down to 0. The Magician is here and returns the trade. 1 for 1 in the mid lane.
That's PK Coming from lane 1 there, Moan Krill helping out with the elimination of Schmlargo. Guided Owl from Brendan. See if you can shake things up. Allow Penn State for some ground to find their footing. Kinetic Carbine looking for targets. There it is. No paradoxical swaps, so just some chip damage to keep them honest and some chance to maybe battle back in this lane. But damage control now for Penn State, as they're going to have to figure out a way to put a leash on this Moan Krill, as PK is proving to be an issue now.
Seven can just sit here on the west side and just deal with the lane by himself the entire time. Doesn't have to worry about being a threat till a little bit later. Whereas Moan Krill can just play setup man elsewhere. Calico all the way across the map here on the right side. And there's only the Paradox stuck in between everybody. Moan Krill trying to chase her down. Very healthy is this Paradox, though. The ultimate comes out from the Mach. And still very healthy. Where's the damage, Iowa? Can't follow up. And as a result, Paradox slinks back into the clutches of her own teammates. And here comes everybody else.
Well, all of that, the damage wasn't needed. It's a deception. They get the Guardian in lane 2. They expend the telekinesis from Schmlargo as well inside of it. So Schmlargo having a 1v2, it doesn't work. And instead, Iowa State just have gotten nothing or given nothing up in terms of the objective. They are just keeping Penn State on guard the whole time. You like this from Fonzie, looking to get active against Nightmare. Escaping is the Mirage, and back up top has help. Seneca, though, quick to fall. Guided Owl's looking for him. I think he's gotten away safely.
Yeah. Crafty parkour up here. Goes up, comes back down, tricks the opponent, you know. Real cute stuff.
Well, Tiny Moo's still around here. I don't know exactly, but they're right underneath the Kinetic Carbine in the face of Nightmare. Now has to stay alive with the paradoxical swap, and there it is. Nightmare goes down. Finally a kill from Penn State, tracking down the Mirage, not allowing them to escape.
Big play there. The Mirage falling down here. Left side, we see a jump onto the 7. 2v1, and Qbert is going to fall down. Great rotation from Schmlargo. Of course, we are riding along with the Calico on the right side of the map. Nothing really doing here. A little bit of light pressure coming out from Penn State, but still the Guardian stands up. All 3 Guardians stand up, honestly. And so Hook does come in here, but everybody's in the dome.
And I like that, too. Return to Shadows from Zab getting in there as the Calico was trying to assist Sam in that frozen shelter, and instead Egon thought you had the hook where you're trying to hook him right into the grave. Instead, it's your own grave that you dig, and that's the 3rd Guardian given up from Penn State.
Clinical coming out from Iowa State. I mean, yeah, listen, the draft is a little lopsided, frankly speaking, but it's not the end of the world. Good pick, but yeah, a little bit of a slide out here. Mirage might be fine. Are there any teammates local? There's one. And so Grey Talon, underground. So is Bebop. But I don't know if you want to chase this one, boys.
No, it's definitely a tough one to lock down, but still a fight going on in lane 3. Kinetic Carbine onto PK. And Moan Krill just digs underground. Ern getting in there. Leaping strike through. Tiny Moo eviscerated as Schmlargo dies as well. So not only is the soul exchanged, or the soul in exchange, but it's also some kills to follow it up. Yiko not able to escape. Zab burns the return to Shadow, but confirms the kill. And now you look at the Guardians all gone. The soul lead starting to grow. 13k ahead. Iowa State feeling good so far in the Cursed Apple.
Too early to really look for a mid-boss. Instead, just pushing up these lanes. 7's in a little bit of trouble. Peep out Mirage, by the way. Mirage now taking up that west side lane to push this up. Always a threat to rotate, so Penn State has to be careful as to where they invest. Mirage can just rotate to the seemingly good favor Penn State fight, and then all of a sudden, Iowa's got more numbers. Or Mirage can not rotate and split push to victory. Or Mirage can rotate as soon as other people address him, leaving Penn State hapless in the team fight. So Mirage pretty much no care in the world, just sitting in a lane and farming.
It's hard, too, to really force the attention of Iowa State right now because you have no objectives to pressure if you're Penn State. There's no earn up. The mid boss, it's way too early to do that. And realistically, Iowa State have numerous players now in, Zeb or Qbert or PK who could solo or even 1v2 to stay alive for a numerous amount of time against these Penn State players. But that just allows for freedom out of players like your Mirage, like Nightmare or Seneca to farm these lanes or start to put some pressure, keep Penn State honest and trying to keep up their walkers. But it's almost you have found yourself in a lull right now if you're Penn State, that you're just waiting. You're playing defense and you're waiting for a chance to get a team fight going. And that's your way back into this game. Soul Exchange, return to Shadows on the other side, and you just got to get the hell out of Dodge right now if you're Yiko. That Soul Exchange keeps you alive, but it's not going to turn the fight.
Yeah, only a couple of defenders here. Ivy will try and shove them off by way of the airmail, but this is what we're looking for out of Penn State. Isolating one character and just cutting them down. Wraith shows up, and that's going to be a big character that I want to talk about a lot as far as, well, not on the losing side. The lobby leader in Souls actually falls down here in that Wraith, and the fight after the fact is just not looking great here for Penn State. There's a number of Iowa jerseys on this side of the map. Ivy in some trouble, forced to use the stun defensively, and that pretty much means go for ISU.
There's so much sustain. I mean, you made a good call in the draft phase. Where is the front line for Penn State? Who is the one to pull that attention? PK is doing a fantastic job on this moment, Krill, just making sure that all the focus is on him for these fights. He stays alive, and you got Sam to keep them sustained with that healing up to Kelvin, and these team fights are feeling so comfortable right now for Iowa State that even if you give up a kill or two, you're still able to finish the rest. Return to Shadows alongside Qbert. The lightning bolt just ripping through their health. And the walkers now falling means it is doom and gloom on the side of Penn State.
Yeah, it honestly really is. 30K separation between our two teams at 15 minutes is not great, Bob. Mid-boss pretty much for free here for ISU. And again, I bring up 30K, easy to digest, but I implore you to look at the individual situations. Wraith, right before that engagement, was leading 13K. Nobody on Iowa State was higher than that. We had one player, I think it was the Mirage, that was 13K as a result of his hard farm. But now, well, she dies. Bounty goes the other way. 14K as a result of being in the timeout chair for a little while. And everybody on ISU, they go ahead, they get that team fight. They get the Walker. They get the mid boss. They've got a Rejuvenator. And now we're looking at 17,000 on Calico and Mirage. We're looking at 18,000 on Qbert 7. So these are definitely characters that you don't want to tussle with. And last point, Penn State have the pick comp. They're looking to pull you and push you down. But now, when you're this far behind, you want to pull Zeb? You want to pull that 17,000 Calico? I don't think so, dude. So who are you picking up? Scary for Penn State to be this far behind the 8 ball.
Because even if you pick up any of these players on Iowa State, they have very strong escape, let alone they can solo you. So it's just a tough situation you find yourself in. Now your base is getting pressured, Earn getting pulled back, but it's not going to matter. You got to take this fight now. And Iowa State are looking to end it here. End it while they're ahead. Telekinesis is going to be used. Picks up one, slams them down. Iowa State able to stay away from this one. Good grab onto Qbert, but again, the healing from the Kelvin keeping alive your 7. As now in comes Funsi. I love that tiny move, though. Not able to escape from the damage there. As Penn State now losing a member, you have to back up. You have to find a way to fight this one soon. Hyper Beam available. Soul Exchange as well on your Lady Geist. But is it going to be enough? I don't think so.
It'll be a little tough. Our first shrine down, and our second shrine, well, pretty much done already. About a third of HP left. Come on. Zeb, what are you doing? Finish the shrine. All right, there you go. All right, now on to the patron. A little bit ahead of yourself there, boy. Calm down.
It's the pre-fire. Just making sure.
Okay, yeah. I'm here for it. You know what? I'm here for it.
Big Sam in the eyes there.
Yep.
As we're now looking to just finish this one, if you're Iowa State, knocking on the doors of a Game 1 victory here in this best of 3. Week 8, we're looking to see who's going to be that number 2 spot. Iowa State making a good argument that it deserves to be them. As a strong team comp, strong will, strong coordination, and absolute dominance on top of everything else. Frozen Shelter is going to keep the team alive again. You thought you were going to dive in if you're Yiko. No, you're not. Instead, it is nothing but death and despair for the Lady Guys. Brendan able to trade out into the Calvin, but now the weakened patron, it is just slowly getting burned down.
Slowly is the key point, though. Penn State University actually putting up some defense. Might be famous last words as we just watched the Paradox fall down. So only 2 players remain standing up. Iowa State, honestly, they're fishing for farms more than they're fishing for the finish. So they'll have some fun. And here we go. Penn State, a rough one as Iowa State takes game number 1.
Getting it done in a very comfortable manner too, F-Dot. I mean, when you're going into a series where you are 4-1, your opponent is 4-2, and the one above you is 7-0, obviously you want to prove that you are the team to be better in terms of that chasm that is that first place and that second place difference. But in this match alone, I mean, where Penn State threw a comp at them that seemed like it was going to be tough to deal with in terms of those lane phases, in terms of trying to avoid all the CC, they do a great job at avoiding everything. In fact, they actually countered it by just staying alive, having better sustain, and making sure that as soon as all those abilities are burned and used, that they can just turn all their fire towards those players, and there's no chance for them to stay alive because they don't have any sustain. They don't have any tanks. And eventually the damage wasn't there either. It got so out of hand so quickly that Iowa State, there's no way they could have lost that.
I mean, listen, you also memed me a little bit. I was like, hey man, you know how you counter the Bebop pull? You don't get pulled. And we saw maybe 2 successful pulls. Just don't get pulled, dude. Like, the Penn State University draft was so all in. Like, you're looking for the pull into the paradoxical swap, into the Ivy stun, into the Wraith ultimate, into the Grey Talon nonsense. And like, yeah, good for you, dude. I want to win the lotto as well. Like, that's just too execution heavy. Realistically, that doesn't happen, especially in Deadlock. Listen, the current meta game right now is a little more deathbally than we've seen in seasons past. The 4 lanes, definitely, we saw more 2v2, v2v2, 3v3v3. Now we see more 5v6, one off of the side. We see more of the full 6-on-6 giant team fights. So, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say the pick composition is a bad idea, but certainly there's a lot of holes to be poked into it. It's high execution, whereas across the other side, just win, dude. And like, that's really all ISU did. They won early, they won often, and they won the damn game.
It is a little bit of a forehead statement to say just don't get hooked. I think like even in the times that they did get hooked, it's like there was no follow-up. There's no damage to those hooks or those pulls. And it's like, where is the damage from your team? Because yes, you got the Wraith and you have the Paradox as well. And even at times you got good spirit damage on the Bebop itself with those bombs. We didn't really see those bombs. And a lot of the times when you hook those heroes, you just look at the way that Iowa built their team composition. I mean, both of the times that you note that we saw those hooks get grabbed by Egon, the Tornado away from the Mirage and the Rabbit Hex from the Sinclair. It's just like 2 things that immediately shut down that ability that allow you to have your escape. And basically, it's a fantastic counterplay out of Iowa State. They built their composition to shut down PSU. They did it with no remorse, no mercy whatsoever, F-Dots. And has me a little bit worried going into game 2. I definitely think that if you're looking at this from PSU's side, things gotta change, and things have to change fast.
Agreed. Really just draft. Like I said, I think they outcuted themselves on the draft. Talking about Penn State, blue team. Yeah, there we go. Talking about Penn State. I think they just got too cute. Like I said, it really difficult to pull off. There's just the follow-up crowd control that these pick compositions are based off of a pull into reliable CC. And the follow-up crowd control is going to be the Ivy, which takes a year and a half to actually go into stone form and get the guy. And like, it's just not enough for me. Having your main damage dealer be the Grey Talon, again, this might be a little bit of personal bias. I'm not buying the Grey Talon stock as much as other people are, and it's games like this. The damage just doesn't seem as consistent. I like Grey Talon for what you mentioned, having the owl, shipping into different lanes. This is the type of game where I'm just like, I know Grey Talon can do the damage. I've seen the big boys do it. I don't see it every game. And then the problem was, I mean, you look across the way.
Yeah.
Pick a tier list. Look at the top row. That was ISU's comp.
I don't think that, like, Grey Talon is, like, that guy. You're not, like, the main damage dealer. You're not the 7. You're not the Infernus. You're not, like, a Yamato, a Warden, a Mirage, or a Wraith who could just deal damage up front and burn somebody fast. It's more of that supporting follow-up damage, the layer in your team that you're allowed to, you know, follow up in the team fight to make sure that you're following the damage of the CC and in your own right, creating some CC in yourself. And I think that when you play Grey Talon to be that carry, to be that, like, that main damage dealer, you're missing out on just a lot of other damage dealers that you could be adding to your team, like the Infernus or like the Wraith that we did see. And we did see that Wraith. It's just, I think that you lose your lane so early there. We didn't get to see the Wraith really form and itemize to be as powerful as we usually get to see. Whether that's an issue in terms of, you know, having support in those fights, Ivy is great. You definitely see that Kelvin is a little bit better in terms of supporting and keeping the team alive. You had no frontline, no Abrams or Warden to keep the attention in those fights on you, to be that buff damage dealer up front. I mean,
listen, we just didn't get to Wraith time. The game ended in like 15 minutes. Like, we just didn't get the Wraith time. Like, you know, just
and not everybody's trackball Zergy. I will say, you can't just, like, pick up Wraith and be the best. Even off the base. Not everybody is that good, but some people are.
Ain't that the truth? Definitely something to think about. Something to think about as we jump into our first break. But before we go, I want to shout out our friends over at Fit Gamer, helping us do what we do over here at College Deadlock. Esports coaching evolved. Esports coaches don't just need VODs and strat breakdowns. They need real-time player performance insights, and Fit Gamer's team dashboard helps teams and coaches track player focus, energy level, and cognitive function so they can adjust training for peak performance on game day. Thanks again to our friends over at Fit Gamer. Thanks again for watching, and we'll be right back with game number 2 after this. Welcome back, Deadlock fans. Penn State University versus Iowa State University. We have, honestly, lit the stage on fire. Penn State came out of the gate not swinging. Iowa State came through and kind of trounced them. In my opinion, by minute 15, it was a little over.
Yeah, I thought you were going to come out here with some grand, like, setup towards what we just watched, and just like, no, it was like the rug pull that we just watched.
Listen, man, I call a shovel a shovel. You got to just call a shovel, and you got to call a grave a grave. However, I'm into zombie flicks, and right now I think Penn State's pretty dead, but they can come back to life here in game number 2, especially because a big part of it, if you're just joining us, first of all, you're late. But game number 1 was a draft thing. IMO. I really and truly think that Penn State drafted too cute, as I say, high execution, and they didn't execute. So that's something they can fix this time around.
It definitely is, and I think you and I spent a lot of time breaking it down before we cut to the commercial break here on College Deadlock, on how they could fix that, how they could improve that, and what really is going on the side of PSU. I made the note of it seemed like PSU were kind of stuck a couple patches behind when I was looking at their composition. Could be the case. Again, and we were talking about this during the break, is that, you know, some players don't keep up with the meta. Some players don't have time with all their classes and stuff like that. And it could be the case of just Iowa State have more time with what they're dealing with and what is good right now. Whereas Penn State are trying to play with what they're more comfortable with and what they're used to and what they know works for them. It doesn't always work like that, unfortunately, and we saw that Iowa State were able to roll through them. But now that Penn State has the amber side, I'm looking at them to kind of lead in with where they want to ban. You know, try to target somebody from Iowa early on. And I think first and foremost, I would personally look towards a Kelvin ban. I think that a lot of people go towards banning Kelvins in even pro play. It's a support character that usually is keeping your team alive, usually making it impossible for you to execute on plays. And Kelvin is just one of those supports that is at the top of the meta. So you get rid of that right away. It was really good in Sam's hand for game number 1, and Iowa State going to match that with a Mirage as well on the other side to make sure that Penn State can't steal it away from them.
Yeah, good call here, taking care of the Mirage. Like I said, he just breaks the rules of the game, and it's really difficult to follow him around the map. It's a fool's errand. But, so he split pushes up the west side, you send somebody, and then he teleports to the rest of the team fight, and now it's a 6-on-5. Or you don't send somebody to deal with him, and he split pushes all the way to victory. Like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. In Magic the Gathering, we call it the impossible decision, and that means he's just busted. So banning him out, love it. That said, Penn State, I mean, you were talking about them being behind a couple of patches. This is the most effective tactic available. We see a lot of this, like, Vindicta is just the go-to carry here. So I don't know anything. I'm a blind man touching an elephant leg. I already like this draft better than I liked their last one.
Yeah, I think that, you know, if Iowa State really want to target, maybe even shutting down the Vindicta, I wouldn't mind seeing a Lash pick. Lash is fantastic these days. You see the Bebop, the great talent right away. So here we go. F-Dot, maybe they were listening to us, or maybe they were thinking, maybe it's not just a don't get hooked situation. Maybe it's a user error at this point. And maybe Iowa State really want to show that in their hands, Bebop is a threat. Bebop is something to be feared.
Bebop is absolutely a threat and something to be feared if you are playing a flyer. Iowa State have one of the flyers. Vindicta is the first pick flyer on the other side. It's really hard to not get pulled when you're moving slow as heck in the middle of the sky. Bebop is a hard counter to what Vindicta wants to do. Iowa State already, you know, off to the runnings, but the Lash also a good look. Again, more of it. Lash and Mo and Krill here for Penn State University. You and I both kind of went, where's the frontline filling. And here we get the frontline filling. This is what we were asking for. It's already an upgrade for PSU.
I wish I could do the New York accent as good as you can, but it's not gonna work for me. We got the Moe and Krill. I think that Moe and Krill is definitely a must pick these days in Deadlock, especially with the changes to the map. And it's just one thing I'll always say: the verticality, the easy rotations makes Moe and Krill just so easy to escape, sneak up on you, and just lock you down just like that out of nowhere. Lash, same thing. With how much rooftop there is now in Deadlock and how easy it is to rotate across the rooftops from each lane, meaning that the map is smaller, it is a lot easier to get those ground slams in and set up for some sneaky death pulls as well. So it is a good pick for Penn State. Lash got banned last game. We didn't get to see it. So hopefully that is going to be one of the initiatives to bring Penn State back into the series. But how do you feel about this? The Viscous getting picked up on the other side, a direct counter to something like Lash and like Moe and Krill having that goo. So I think that's a big, strong support, especially considering that there's no Kelvin.
Yeah, big point about the cube there, because the quintessential combo, the Wombo combo, Happy Feet, this is the Moe and Krill Vindicta. You lock them down, you shoot them in the face. You lock them down, you shoot them in the face. This is why you draft this combo, and so having the cube there, you lock him down, you shoot. He's a cube. Oh no. So I like this interaction. I think this is a strong choice for Iowa State. Listen, I am never... Number one, I'm not getting a Viscous tattoo, but he's never bad. He is your perfect in between. Like, because the thing is that, like, balance, it's precarious, but at the end of the day, he's just puddle punching all day. Whatever your team fight looks like, he's puddle punching. He's rolling through. He's just messing up your day. That's his thing. And so, is he the hard carry? No, but he doesn't need to be, because he's just messing up your Christmas, man. He's a really solid choice when you don't want to really go in a specific direction. So Iowa State, you know, they've got their Vindicta counter, they've got some damage and great talent, and they've got the annoying guy. And now they get to kind of play a part. They get to play against what Penn State want to draft. They got to get to see where they want to go and kind of play it slower. And I like this idea.
Well, here we go for the second set of bans. Penn State going to opt in for the Calico ban, Iowa State the Ladygeist ban. So possibly Iowa State struggling at tracking that soul exchange and how much the Ladygeist really did have impact. It wasn't too big of a difference in game number one. I think that just says more about how fast Iowa State got ahead rather than, you know, the potential threat that Ladygeist truly can have. And Iowa State are recognizing that. And then Penn State, the other side, the Calico is always an issue. I think that Calico quickly became top of the line back early Shiv days, like dangerous in terms of 1v1ing people, and getting her off the board is definitely a strong ban. And even for that, Penn State layering in some extra damage now. So you go for the Wraith, you go for the Infernus, two things that, hey, I think that's great. I think those are great picks.
I definitely think the Wraith is a great pick. Wraith is the one I'm putting at the top. I love this character. I think as long as you're able to get to a late game where she's able to scale, she does work. Absolutely. Infernus is a little more contentious. I'll touch that later. But Holiday, last picked here, the cowgirl coming through here for Penn State University. This is a top pick character, and a top pick character. She really likes to pick. Sort of a Paradox Light type situation. She's got the Bat Rider ultimate going on. There's a lot of nonsense that comes with the cowgirl. I like her pick. She is usually much higher prioritized by teams, consistently seeing her high in the draft or banned otherwise. So this is a decent look for Penn State. Again, the bar was really low, Seymour. It honestly was. But ignoring game number one's draft, I like this draft from Penn State University. I really do.
I do too.
That said, I still think Iowa State wins it. I still think that I like the quintessential cold cut and dry, old school, 2 tank, 2 DPS, 2 utility. Like, it's dumb, it's textbook, it's forehead, but it's it's classic for a reason, dude. So I always kind of lean towards the direction of this traditional Deadlock draft for me.
I think that Penn State is definitely more of more tailored towards the meta these days than it was in the past pick.
Sure.
The one issue and where I agree with you for I think Iowa State still looked like the better team is that in game one you scrap away meta, you scrap away composition, everything that they had. They looked like the better team, cut and dry. Their engages were better, their rotations were better, their laning phase was better. They were getting picks around the map. It's just everything in terms of the game itself looked better for Iowa State. And now that Penn State has that chance to battle with a better composition, they have to show me that they are players who can also back up a composition like this mechanically. And alongside like that, I think that this is going to be a good chance. And I think for Iowa State, the one thing that they have that, again, is an issue for Penn State is the shutdown potential of you have the cube for Viscous.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big deal for sure.
You have the shoulder charge for Abrams. You have the quantum entanglement on Dynamo. You have things that are going to again make it hard for players like or heroes like Lash or Morin Krill or Wraith to really find value. Even the lasso on Holiday is going to struggle because there's a Viscous on the other team. So it's just
but there's only
Iowa
one.
State. There's only one cube, but even still, it's just you're picking the places to use these ultimates, and you're not going to be using them all at the same time. So it's just that Viscous is going to have a lot of impact and a lot of shutdown. And if not that, the quantum entanglement too can save your team. So it's a huge pick on Iowa State in terms of countering Penn State.
I mean, well, that's why I like Penn State's draft as far as their damage dealers are concerned. When we look at the Wraith and we look at the Infernus, these are characters that aren't shut down by Cube because they are extended damage dealers, right? They're not burst damage dealers. These characters are elongated damage. What's the word? Sustained damage is what I'm looking for. Wraith just holds the left click to victory, and Infernus does the same thing but with style, right? His little flame dot.
Dot.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so his little flame, so like that. Yeah, Penn State drafted nicely into this Iowa State draft. If you want to ask me, I look at Egon and Brendan. That's going to be the traditional front line, the traditional damage dealers, being Yiko and Tiny Moo, and then Schmargo and Funsi are going to be your util characters. And that's something that we've seen the Infernus switch over to a little bit more, is playing that world.
Yeah, I still think that there's a lot to be desired from Penn State's macro after game number 1. And now that they have the better chance with this draft, we're going to have to see if they can back it up in terms of the way that they play through this one. A lot of it's going to come down to, we never got Wraith time in game 1. Let's see if we get Wraith time in game 2. You can't lose this in 15 minutes or else you're never giving those damage dealers even the chance to play this game. So big issue is back in game number 1 on Iowa State. Hubert got ahead on the 7. This time Seneca going to be playing this hero. Another one that was a big difference was Zep was on that Calico. This time the Viscous. So a little bit of a change in dynamic on how you're playing the hero. But even still, Zeb, I'm excited to see how they play this.
I like this Abrams play. Sam gets out of there with a hair of H. Never mind. I was just going to say, I like the audacity to be this aggressive. And honestly, like, that death hurts. That's not a good look. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, it's good to be first-blooded. But that is the way you've got to play this character. He has innate damage reduction, and you have to be more aggro on this guy than you are on other characters. So, you know, I like the spirit, ISU. Just do it again without the oops.
More alley, less oop. You put it together, maybe you get the full alley-oop.
I like it. I like it.
Nice
More
poke
alley.
on uppercut. Brendan in trouble. PK not there to hit the stun off the knock-up, but right away you're just putting some conditioning there onto Brendan. Have to watch out for the hook here for Hubert because Hubert was on point with the 7 in game 1.
Certainly a couple of characters that could deal with the hook. You know, Mo and Krill could just go underground after throwing some pocket sand, and the Fireman could just dash away. He could also just activate the ult and be like, why did you pull me, bro? You're getting bombed. So there's a couple of... I like this lane from Penn State, specifically. Yeah, who are you going to pull, dude? So I like this decision to put these two characters here on the west side.
Yeah. You hook them, you knock them up, and suddenly they're just blown up on the map, and you don't know what to do. And you don't have that Spirit lifesteal yet on Brendan, so you have to really be careful for Infernus. That sustain isn't as high as you are going to have later into the game right now. So even still, you're walking on thin ice. And if you're also a player who's on fire, so you don't want that ice to melt.
Yeah, you're definitely playing a little bit with fire there for sure, but right now, I mean, they're the ones firing up in this lane. You see Penn State kind of sitting on their curtilage, but the other side, east side, Penn State pushing on the opponents. So that's kind of what you're looking for. You know, one of your lanes is, you know, you can't be perfect all the time. One of your lanes is going to lose out. Just hope that the other lane is really doing it. So that's what we're seeing, some dominance on the right-hand side. Visiting the middle lane, though, Seymour. This one seems to be just deadlocked in the middle. Nobody's really gaining momentum here, it seems. A little bit of damage onto our 7, but just slink back in the lane, no problem.
So far, I'm impressed with Penn State and the way that they're handling this. A lot less mistakes, a lot better just neutral fights in the heroes that they have, and they're punishing a lot of the aggressiveness and the egregious challenges that you're seeing from Iowa. Telekinesis met by the cube. You're not able to shut down the Abram just yet, but you're going straight for the Viscous. In trouble now. You have the TP away. Do you use it? Just now you're squaring up with nothing, and Zeb's gonna take you down for it. So Schmlargo bites off a little bit more than they could chew, and it might have cost Egon as well. Nowhere to escape to, and it's Eldance, Sam to confirm that kill. Tiny Moo going down as well. Things starting to blow up for Penn State. That is not a good moment for the team.
Yeah, the double kill on the right side, the single kill in the mid, and then no kills on the left side, but Mo and Krill still forced all the way out of lane. We call that a TKO, a technical knockout, or a Tully knockout, depending on where you're coming from. Shout out to them. But the world of hurt is certainly being put onto Penn State. They had a little bit of the upper hand on the right side, and it just went awry. We didn't see the entire engagement, but Schmlargo. Honestly, I've watched you a couple of times. I like the player, hate the name, tough to say, caster problems. The Wraith player, though, went a little too hard, I think. Unfortunate. One mistake is fine. Pull is good. But there's the dash on out. Knocked up is strong here, Seymour. Infernus out.
Infernus out, and Quantum Entanglement just before, but the combo keeps you in there. Scorn, does it finish the kill? No, you are parried, Foonsie. Nice try. Mo and Krill, one of my favorite heroes, but sometimes you just do things like that, and it makes you look bad.
Well, that one, listen, that's not all on Foonsie. It's a little bit on Foonsie. He got parried. Got to know that parry's coming. Brendan didn't trust. Either Foonsie didn't communicate and just went all in under tower without help from his team. You know what I mean? Something went awry there for the squad.
Speaking of things going wrong, Yiko, low and mid, has to back up under Guardian. Another tussle going over towards lane 3, and you can see it. Zab going to finish off Schmlargo again. The Wraith falls, so starting to follow up with those bad habits from game 1. This Wraith just not able to activate ever, and not really able to have freedom in lane. It's just suffocating here watching these two. And then charge right into the back of the puddle punch, knocks them right to the afterlife. Egon, be gone.
Dance. Oh man, that was, listen, this is a man lane. This is Zeb and Sam coming in, they're pressing W and they're not stopping. Predator drone on the way.
Oh, Yiko.
Stuns one. Yiko's got 1 HP, but nobody's there to finish off. Dude, why are you here?
I was gonna say, like, what are you doing?
Dude, it took me out of caster moment. I was like, what are you doing, man? Like,
oh, they're still there. Pull, shoot.
Wild.
I can't believe Yiko is still alive, but Hey, Holiday, what are you going to do? Sometimes, people used to call Holiday the dollar store paradox, and now it's like the Gucci paradox. But, wow. Nice assassination.
Maybe some Gucci buy off Timo.
I mean, I will say, I think there are players who definitely make Holiday look the better hero to grab in terms of being that initiator. And that's because the spirit damage that the Keg gets done, it is a lot. The lasso is a little bit different from the paradoxical swap, but the thing that makes the lasso so good, unlike the paradoxical swap, is it doesn't put you in harm's way.
Yes.
Paradoxical swap does.
That's certainly a big deal. She's just, I mean, straight up and down, she's just hard to play. There's a lot of buttons going on, the boing, the barrel, like a lot of bonking going on here. The Abrams and the Goo Man just going for the slot machine, but Vindicta's here. Neither of them realize that. Can Vindicta make the play after the fact? Doesn't look like it. Walks away.
And like a scared cat, Egon's like, get me out of here. Back in for the shoulder charge, and Smlargo is just making some decisions, question marks in my head on why go into a small corridor with an Abrams. That is like you're asking to be shoved into a locker.
Exactly. You're just like, hey man, you want to join the chess club? Kids, join the chess club. You'll learn a lot. If they have a Go club, though, do that instead.
Like a Pokemon Go club?
No, stop it. Penn State University, Iowa State University. Iowa State grabbed game number 1. Got a tiny lead here, but honestly, not really a large lead. And that's a big deal for Penn State. They made similar mistakes to what we saw in game number 1, but Seymour, they're making them more spread out. So, you fall down, oops. You fall down again, oops. But as long as you have time to recover. And so, again, look at the individual soul farm on these characters. 7, 6K across the board. Like, just now, Iowa State's pushing into 8K. Penn State, 2v2, can fight. 3v3, can fight. A 5K difference in this game is nothing.
No, it's definitely something that you're still feeling good for Penn State. And hey, all 3 Guardians up going into 10 minutes. I see that as an absolute win for this team. Another set of kills, but you have a chance to trade, and you're going to do just that with the slam. Tiny Moo, can you do more? Ops to play their life even better. You can clear that wave, keep your team nice and healthy. Singularity into the other side, and go to town, Abrams. Cold Front's going to take care of both Funzi and Brendan. And hey, I might have spoken too soon, because now the Guardians are going to go down in lane 1 and potentially lane 2 as well.
Huge rotation from the big boys. I mean, that right there is why I am so adamant about having a traditional 2-initiator draft. Like, I just like the control that Dynamo Abrams brings. I just like the control that Abrams Lash brings. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much team fight control. I think it's a little more meta to go the way of Mo and Krill, and even the Lash. But Mo and Krill is single target lockdown. You can't do what PKPR did there. Earn return, and it's going to be a 1. It's going to be 2.
Okay.
So Penn State actually pick up 2 separate players there, which the earn goes down, but of course they get a bounty. Take a look at that Vindicta, 10K. She can run away with it.
Oh, this is where you need value in the concussive combustion. Right away, you take care of Cupert, and the Guardian has to go. So you lose the Soul Urn, but you get an objective for it. Now looking for a little bit more telekinesis from Smlargo to allow the escape as well. So a little bit of pressure there onto the walker through mid, but getting that Guardian is so big, because you could have lost Solar and gotten nothing for it. This time you get it. Not only that, you get a second Guardian as well. So already Penn State, we're seeing the improvements to the macro play. It's just continuing to consistently play this game, stay in the game, that I'm worried about.
Yeah, really smart macro play. Watching the teleport here, we see a little bit of a step.
There's nowhere to go.
Yeah, just 17 players versus 1. That's how she goes. But really smart rotation coming out from Penn State. They take that tier 1 tower. They walk directly into the teleporter that sends them over to the west side, and they go directly for that tier 1 tower. They have numbers against the 7. Even if they die against him, they get the objective that they showed up for. Very, very intelligent play. Knew exactly. And here's one of the core competencies of a MOBA-like game like this. You got to know where you're going before you need to go there. While they were taking the right side tower, they knew the left side tower was their choice after that.
It's all about timing. It's all about routes. And following up and executing off of those as well. So far, Penn State building off of this better composition, the better draft that they do have, and better play style that we're seeing inside of Game 2. Down 4K souls is 100% manageable. I think the chat would agree. I would agree. And F-Dot, I'm sure you would agree too. It is a no-brainer for this one. But all in all, now Iowa State, what is the next play call for them? Because you don't have soul earn, definitely not going to be going for mid-boss. But if you're looking to maybe overwhelm a Walker and you can split push correctly, Singularity is starting to come up here for PK. And that could definitely set you up for a few kills. Although losing Qbert there, I thought for a second you were going to get the TP from PK. And that's when the Singularity was maybe going to tee them up. But now that you've lost Nightmare Qbert, I don't think you go for this right now. I think Dynamo is a fish out of water at the moment.
And then Ultimate's down as well. Yeah, it's a big deal. But, I mean, that's the quintessential combo. That's why we pick the Dicta and the Mo and Krill. They do that. That is the Wombo combo. So, Penn State doing what their draft says, which is good because last time around they played a pick composition and they weren't able to get said picks. Turn things around here, and 7 goes down as quickly as he goes up, chased through and put in the ground. Nightmare can't stand up against the entirety of the Penn State University squad.
Oh, it's not even that. The Storm Cloud was about to do immense damage onto Penn State, but it's the telekinesis from Schmlargo that counters it, shuts it down even. And a free pick there. Iowa State starting to show their bellies in some situations, and I'm actually noticing some, like, ego from this team throughout the match, and possibly that is like mistakes being shown where this Penn State team are like, okay, we might have lost like that in game 1, but you can't treat us like this whatsoever. So stepping up to the oppression and fighting back in every lane.
I mean, yeah, definitely have to remind folks, this is your number 2 and number 3 squad. This is not a slouch. Penn State is strong at what they do. Just got to find that strength in this matchup.
Good combo.
Trouble on the east side. As we see the ultimate coming out from Mo and Krill. Finish off by Yiko, so it's a 2-for-none exchange. Credit to the yellow team. Holiday going to keep on chasing. This player's half HP, brought down to a whole bunch of nothing. Yeehaw! As Egon gets involved as well. So 4 players sitting out. Schmargo grabs the urn. They're going to go ahead and go all the way west side while the rest of the squad pushes into this mid lane. They do have a tier 1 Guardian. That is right for the taking.
It is being guarded by Seneca. Great talent saying, hey, don't come over here, kids. Stay off my lawn. And instead, Penn State like, all right, you want the lawn? We'll go to the Solar. Being met by the Viscous and Qbert, possibly setting up for a hook onto when that Soul is going to be looking to get captured by Penn State. As it isn't a full rotation from Iowa just yet. It looks like they're going to spread these lanes. See if you can draw away this Soul Earn push and have them defend their lanes, which exactly is what Penn State's going to have to do. Just meet this one and mirror it. And now Iowa State, off of that, starting to work through this lane 1. 3 players pushing up.
Penn State's decision-making here, or rather lack thereof, has kind of given the momentum back to Iowa State. Numerically, we're tied up, but as far as momentum is concerned, Penn State didn't go anywhere, and now Iowa State are the ones with the travel plans. They're here on the west side. They take down Funsi early. A nice answer from Egon might turn things around, but that's Nightmare.
Yeah.
That's like that's a damage dealer. Not too concerned about that one, Seymour.
I mean, that's good defense over to lane 3. It keeps your Walker good, but this has been so free for Seneca. Walks up mid and takes it. Like, nobody there to stop the Grey Talon. That is a huge overlook for Penn State, and another flex slot now for Iowa State to start to itemize even further on, which is not what you like to see if you're a fan of Penn State here, and Iowa State going to take their hand over towards the urn. They don't have Singularity. They do have the Storm Cloud and the Guided Owl, but without that Singularity, is this something that you can get done?
Yeah, they go ahead and grab the urn, but at what cost? Nico's able to trade one for Zeb, and there's going to be the follow-up onto PK. Still the chase inside, as we see Grey Talon being chased down. Hubert already ate it before. There's L-Dance. And Penn State, listen, they made a misplay by not doing anything last time they got momentum. Here, as we see kill number 5, and maybe even the full team wipe. Nah, 7's across the country. We see 5 players taken down for essentially the Solar, and obviously that's in Penn State's favor. But listen, it's about the stuff after the stuff. I don't care about these 5 kills. What do you do now that you have the space and time? And again, Penn State looks like doing a whole bunch of nothing.
I guess a lot better.
They're pushing the mid tower. There it is.
You gotta get this tier 1. If you don't get this tier 1, it is a failure. And there it is. It's gonna go down. The best thing that I saw from Iowa there is the recognition from Nightmare that was a lost fight at the urn, and shoved waves into lane 3 as far as possible, right into the walker. And that took some attention away from Penn State. They had to clear up their waves. They had to clear those lanes, and you didn't have that immediate just attention to the walkers or the guardians. So it's enough time for Iowa State to only give up the tier 1 guardian and have the rest of the team respawning in time to defend the rest. So very heads up play from Nightmare.
A little bit of a reset here. Taking inventory. All of our tier 1s are gone. And Penn State is missing their mid walker. But all of our lanes are generally at equilibrium, all at the 50-yard line. Just now we're seeing a little bit of a push here from Iowa State on both left and right lanes, which Penn State should be able to match. Wraith farming up. Coalescence, nah, okay. I thought we were going to see a harder push here by Iowa State on the right-hand side, but they're also going to wind up retreating. And so looking for these in-between plays is where we see both of our squads. And honestly, any given Sunday, nobody has momentum. Lash going to try and create some tosses, finds the dive kick, and the follow-up from Mo and Krill can't land.
And he turns the attention over.
Falls down,
And look at the backup from Iowa. Seneca gets away. Hubert hooks Sam to safety, and they're able to turn this fight around. Still, Sam gonna go down. Seneca hunted, and it doesn't look like it's gonna pay off. A valiant effort from Iowa State in terms of trying to get the hell out of Dodge, but Penn State say, not this time. We are the hunters, not the prey. So let's go hunting. Walker going down. Suddenly the march to victory beginning for Penn State, although you can look towards Nightmare and what he's doing. A little bit of damage back over towards lane 1, and it's a Walker in the side of Iowa. Again, Nightmare making the 400 IQ plays to keep the team in it.
Giga important answer. Might see another Walker here on the right-hand side. Just like that. It is. So, structures, everybody even. Soul's a little bit in the way of Penn State here, but ever so slightly. Enough to tilt the... Exactly. And enough to tilt the earn deposit zone as well. So, earn zone here. Done, son. And Iowa State able to cut that lead just a little bit.
That's not something that Penn State want to deal with whatsoever. You walk into the base of Iowa, who knows what happens. It is still a coin flip on these team fights. And Penn State so far have been doing a good job at initiating these fights, setting their terms, and executing on them. That you don't want to even give a glimpse of a moment to this Iowa State team. After how game 1 went, you know that things can still turn in their favor. So I like the call to just give it up, manage your lanes, kill your farms, and continue to go up. There is a Bebop. You spot Hubert in lane 1, so immediately this Vindicta just knows you cannot stand in the open. You don't want to get hooked here. It could be the catalyst to what comes next.
Vindicta's been a big part of the victories here for Penn State, landing consistent assassinations, and obviously that catapults her farm as a result of landing those last hits with the ult. So already sitting pretty at 26, and Wraith doesn't have anything that really boosts her farm, and she's also very pretty at 25. So good places for your DPS to be.
I wonder where what Egon's going to buy into. I mean, you're sitting on 6.4k souls, now 6.6. I mean, like, what are we waiting for? What are we going to buy? So, this could be, when you're heading into a tier 4 item that, like, the difference in what makes you so good. And yeah, wow, look at that. I'm pretty sure that that is going to be the extra nail in the coffin here for what's making Vindicta turn these fights around.
At the end of the day, I mean, like, she's just the idea that you've got some lockdown next to her is really what guarantees these kills. She could buy all garbage items, in all honesty, and Footsie locking people down. Egon's just not going to miss that shot. Sam only has 1 cube. You know, this is really why we see this this combination selected like, so often.
Even having Lucky Shot onto the Vindicta, I mean, like, that's not only, like, extra ammo, but it slows the enemies on hits. Like, it gives you bullet shield health, too. Like, Egon is going to be a force now because of that. Like, who is going to really pierce through that bullet shield or even be able to, like, shut down? And unless you hit that hook, I mean, you got nothing. Lasso onto Seneca. Welcome to the party, my friends, by the ethereal shift, and you're stuck in the ground or something. I don't know what that was in the model, but here we go, and the Death Slam pulls him right back up and drops him down to the other side. Huge. It's going to be the 7, and the Abrams. Yiko falls to that, so it's a deliverance now in favor of Iowa, where Zeb's able to instantly turn this fight. Suddenly, it is not what you expected if you're Tiny Mo. And you were dancing with a healthy Abrams here, not able to land the parry, slowly bleeding out. Walker for Schmlargo. So at least you're getting something out of this right now if you're Penn State.
Look, if you dive too deep, you get crushed by the pressure. So much bread in the eyes chasing Seneca. Seneca wiggles out with half an HP bar, and everybody else from the squad is there. They go ahead and they just take advantage of what is already a half HP everybody on the enemy team. Now they look for the mid-boss. But there is going to be a response from Penn State. You see Infernus is lurking. There is no Chrome Dome to deal with it, so the bomb can shut things down, but Iowa State peel off. They're not going to finish the boss just yet. A little afraid of that steal potential, and they should be.
Yeah, they should be, but oh, look at this. Brenton. Why are you even thinking about this right now? You got 300 health, my friend. Slowing Hex, Static Charge is going to do the healing blow there. Nightmare happy to collect that kill. And why not both? Egon down as well. Means that there's no damage for Penn State. So charge into battle, Iowa. Take your kills, take your value, and go take mid-boss.
Great shot there from Seneca to finish off Footsie. You've still got 3 players up, and honestly, Tiny Moo, ultimate available, is a little scary to threaten this steal onto the mid-boss. Not going to give it a shot, though. And so Iowa State... Yeah. Those are the plays that I think you just throw it away. I think when the opponents are going for the Fit Gamer Rejuvenator, you just, listen, I got 3 of my homies on the bench. If I die here, what is worst case scenario? Worst case scenario, your respawn timer is what, around half a minute? So you're sitting out for 30 seconds. So you go ahead, worst case scenario, you die, you don't get the Rejuvenator. We're in the exact same situation that we are now, and you lose a little bit of farm. But by the time Iowa State really get together and push, you are out of timeout jail, and you're ready to fight again. So, no big deal. Best case scenario, you steal the damn Rejuvenator. So, I like those suicide missions in these cases. I would have liked to see Tiny Moo go for it, but it's not a world where I can be angry that they didn't. At the end of the day, just conceding it and going for the farm, also a valid choice.
Telekinesis onto Cuber combo as well. See you later, robot. Concussive combustion countered out by the Q, but even still Zeb in trouble. Not enough HP to get out of that one. Another kill onto L-Dance. Sam going down. It's 3 in a row. Why not more? Storm from Nightmare. It's going to be enough to at least ward them off. Good chip damage from Egon, and the Nightmare ultimate not able to turn this fight fully, so still Penn State with the edge in this fight. Health, though, low, so they have to be careful on what they go next. Singularity might be a throwaway. Yeah, it is, PK. Not sure what you thought you were going to get done there. Fortunately enough for Iowa State, they got the Rejuvenator, so they're going to be able to get right back into these fights. But that is a wasted Rejuvenator off of that. So much into that for nothing.
Yeah, great defense coming out from Penn State. Made sure to spread the team fight into 2 separate engagements, and that really allowed Penn State to find some victories. Making sure that PK was a little bit too little too late, forcing him to just panic ult, not really using the ultimate on his terms. Dynamo is a character that really can't change the game plan. If you're Abrams, you want to ult and start the team fight. But if the team fight gets brought to you, you can still up-down, ult, slam down on everybody that had the audacity to jump you, right? Same thing with Lash. Dynamo, really? He has to be the initiator. You initiate on Dynamo intelligently, and you're not close enough to get sucked in. Like, he's just really rough. So you force out the panic ult, not a big deal. Right side, engagement. This one's going to be a big deal, Seymour. The last remaining walker here for Penn State. And Iowa's got 5 people pushing on the door.
Big combustion coming out from Penn State. Brenton doing so much to keep the team ahead. Schmalark off that follow-up damage, something we didn't get to see back in Game 1, but the Wraith surely could have game impact in the second. Cooper not able to escape through the teleporter means 4 down for Iowa. 60-second respawns as well means this one is going to be a hefty change for Penn State. As now you can reap the reward. Push into the base and see if you can crack this bad boy open.
The first team wipe with the Rejuvenator, I mean, that's why you get the Rejuvenator. You go for some gutsy pulls, crazy calls, and if it don't work out, well, it's all good. We'll see you in 20 seconds. Doing it again, that's not a great look. And so, Penn State, as a result, like you said, is able to walk on in here. Shrine number 1 gone. And now it's patron time, as Shrine number 2 is already out for the count. Iowa State, man, they're not going to be able to res to defend Phase 1. Phase 2, they'll be able to, but damn, great push coming out from PSU. And as a result, Penn State going to fall back. They know that Iowa State's going to be there to defend that Phase 2 patron, so see you later.
Hey, we got what we wanted. Let's get out of here. I mean, you don't want to poke the bear anymore. So, Iowa State, man, now reeling off of what was a lights-out Game 1. A 15-minute, almost, Game 1. Now struggling to have their own success in Game 2. The team fights just do not look as good. And maybe it was down to the draft, because this Penn State team, I don't know what they were cooking back in Game 1, but this is more the speed of Deadlock that we're used to. As you can see, bridge buffs going up. Nice onto Vindicta, a little bit extra bonus health and regen. Something that this 7 has plenty of, now that they have Boundless Spirit picked up. One thing that was grabbed as well is Sam has the knockdown on this Viscous, so it is going to put a little bit more pressure on this Vindicta to kind of care for any potential CC to pick you out of the sky. But even still, Egon just been doing a fantastic job at avoiding all of that.
That's been, that's their entire job, honestly. That's one of the hard parts about playing Vindicta. She's this powerful because she's technically easy to grab, but strong Vindicta players, don't get hit forehead. But that's a core competency. If you want to play one of the slow-moving flyer characters, you gotta, be able to predict movement, etc., etc. Going back to your comment about the draft, yeah, man, I think that Penn State University just drafted too hard to execute in game number 1. I don't think that they necessarily had all of the ingredients. And so, as a result, they tried to make a curry with 2 spices. It's just not going to happen. You got to have some more stuff going on. This draft around less pointed, less surgical, and more open-ended, meaning these team fights are a little bit more available for action. So a much different scenario for Penn State this time around.
There's the knockdown used really early. Hook's not going to land, so here's your chance. Death Slam going to be interrupted. And here comes the Infernus. Now concussive combustion into the backline. Storm Cloud up in the air. Is it going to be enough? It is. Cooper, Nightmare, they all fall in the hands of the Robot 7 combo. Iowa State awoken from their long slumber so far here in game number 2. And it has been fantastic now for Iowa to charge into this walker, see if they can push Penn State against the ropes.
Yeah, this is Iowa State. Listen, they can't stop. They need to get both of these shrines. I mean, hell, they need to get if they can get the Phase 1 patron Not like that, though. Hubert in big trouble. There's only 2 people here. And
How do you stop
still
this?
Got enough damage to deal with it. Seneca takes down Egon, and it's just Yiko on D. And so as a result, yeah, no chance to survive. Make your time. Both shrines go down, Seymour. The patron's exposed.
The patron's exposed, probably going to be going down. So Egon a little bit staggered off of this one, but Yiko is still alive. 5 players off the regen in 10 seconds. Egon still a little bit behind that, and Iowa State just going to take their winnings and run away, quite like what Penn State did before. We're back into a tie game in game number 2, and Iowa State, it only took them 1 moment to reclaim where they looked best in the front line.
Yeah, both of these teams have team fight capabilities now. Again, reminder, listen, I know that game 1 was, I don't know, what's a good euphemism? It was a little trying if you're a Penn State fan, but this is a 4-1 squad versus a 4-2 squad. This is, last game was the uncharacteristic performance by far. This is much more what we expected tonight to be, and so seeing this back and forth, I mean, I don't know, they're cliches for a reason, so stick to it. Any given Thursday, both of these teams can take it out.
And imagine what kind of a best of 3 we'd have if this is the game 1 we got. I think it's putting a little bit more pressure on Penn State to perform now that this is the end-all be-all for this match. You don't want to just walk away. After all of this work is done, you don't want to walk away empty-handed. So you have to be careful where your next move is. You know that you're going to be going into the fight against a Singularity, the hook, the shot, static charge. A big issue so far has been Nightmare, and with his 45k souls, highest in the lobby, that Stormcloud is going to be everything with Boundless Spirit bought now by the 7. So if there's no shutdown, if there's no knockdown onto the 7 when that ultimate is used or anything to really interrupt it, it's got to be Penn State just getting the hell out of there. I mean, you just cannot walk under that Stormcloud for free right now. You have to draw it out. You got to find a pick to open up your fight.
What's this gimmick? Why is he... What is this late-game monster rounds purchase? I need to...
Maybe it's one of those, yeah, I got like 500 credits, 500 spirit still like just in my bank. Why not buy something else? You can sell it later.
Just slam something to sell later. Yeah, you know. 30 bonus health, and you know what? You know what? Actually, pulling back from like being serious about it. Listen, what is the? When do you buy monster rounds? You buy monster rounds in the early game laning phase when your #1 priority is killing troopers. What is Iowa State looking to do? End the game by pushing into the base. Yeah, man, I'll take a 26% boost versus NPCs. Absolutely. So you know what? At first glance, it was a little silly to me, but I zoom out and, I think they're cooking with gas.
It's like, why not have... Oh, no, puddle punch up the knockdown. And you're stunned, disarmed, everything thrown at Egon. Singularity now, but it's caught by the lasso. So good interruption from Yiko. Hooked away is PK. That slam throw, Quantum Entanglement keeps the team away from danger. And again, the sustain for Iowa, keeping them healthy. All 6 players here in the Hyper Beam. You can't say the same for Penn State. Ripping through the health bar is Hubert. As 3 go down, again, you're reeling now for Penn State. How do you find your way back? Brendan goes down. It's Tiny Moo and Yiko to try to keep your hopes alive.
A little bit of a miscommunication here as Iowa State can't figure out what they want to do. We saw them go north and south and north and south, finally fully committing here, looking for the push into the enemy base. Patron already in the pit, and Iowa State, they stumbled, they struggled a little bit, and here's another speed bump. Tiny Moo's going to pick everybody up and toss them into the fountain. As a result, Hubert winds up eating it, so 5 players on the offensive here in game number 2. Could be the last game we play. But Penn State wants to stop that. 2 players now pitted. 10% Iowa State are able to finish us off here. Seymour, 2 games. That's it.
Bent but not broken. Tried and tested, but still victorious. I mean, Iowa State, what a team we got going on there in their camp. Even against the ropes in that game number 2, you saw the initiative for them to really collect themselves, stop over-aggressing, stop playing those ego challenges inside of the lanes, and, you know, actually manage what you have, your win conditions and the combos. The singularity is starting to look a lot better from PK, Cubert there, just in case it doesn't work out. Even when at that last fight, Yiko lassoed this singularity and actually shut it down.
Yeah.
Immediately you see the cube and then the hook. You get PK out of danger and you allow your team to regroup together. The sustain from game 1 follows up in game number 2, and it just seemed like when this team activates, they don't die. Like, that is an insane just combination of abilities there from Iowa State to just allow them to outlive Penn State. And albeit, I'll give some props to Penn State, man. They really gave them a run for their money in game number 2, but it's just the finishing touches, the ice to clutch up, just not there yet.
Man, look at Yiko out here, 11-2 and 14-10 on the holiday. Strong stuff coming out, almost 40K player dam combined with her damage-dealing teammate Egon. And again, like, you know, it's interesting, like, this is a straight 3 DPS. Holiday, you know, maybe they're going to play some utility. Nah, they just went straight 3 DPS, strong gameplay. And listen, Penn State were, and I don't mean mathematically as far as the exact lead is concerned, I mean advantage. But Penn State was winning this game for 80% of it. Iowa State found a couple of moments where they were able to just like pop, and really magnetism their way into the game. As soon as Penn State sort of gave them an inch, they took their opponents, Iowa State, took a mile. So again, I mean, Penn State, this was a much better draft. And I was really, really rude to this squad in game number 1. And I ain't taking it back. But game number 2, you showed me what's up. And despite the loss, I really like this performance. I think if this was a BO5, Seymour, we wind up seeing at least a couple more games. I really and truly think that. But at the end of the day, man, you know, Iowa State also had the wherewithal to be able to catch what was dropped. So kudos to the winner.
Definitely think that if they went into game 1 with the same plan as game 2, we'd be talking a little bit different about this team. But it's the fact that you tried to throw something weird into that game number 1, probably some comfort, see if you can, you know, size up players on your comfort picks. It didn't work. You got slammed, and that's that kind of iffy, like, what are we cooking there, Penn State? What's going on for this team? But it's like that game 2 creates those building blocks for, like, okay, this team has the, you know, potential to play up towards the number 2 seed, potentially be that number 2 seed in the future. And come playoffs, come whatever comes next year for college Deadlock, Penn State has room to grow. And I think that that is the important part for this team coming through from this one, because I think that you showed promise here in that second game. It's sad that we don't get a game 3. I wanted to see a game 3 after the way that was going.
I feel you. I mean, realistically, something I want to clarify here with that first game's draft is that, like, I don't think it was just... This is a MOBA. There are 27,000 different levers and pulleys as far as variables are concerned, as far as itemization and characters and draft, and so it is a deep game, right? And I don't think that I don't think that we can look at game number 1's draft and say bad. I'm trying to fish around for strength of schedule. I don't know if it's gonna show up or not. But looking at that pick composition, that's composition that's going to pay dividends when you're playing against a team, squad, players a little bit worse than you. And so we're looking at a team with they're 4-1, and pulling up the schedule here. Penn State winds up taking down University, UNM Esports, Purdue, USU Blue, and Maverick. They 2-0'd all of those opponents, and then the one game that Penn State winds up losing is a 1-2 against CTU Red. So these are squads that are lower on the standings to them. These are squads that they have 2-0'd. So that's a strategy that works out because you're able to just catch people lacking, essentially. Yeah. Now you're going head-to-head against one of the stronger teams in the league. You're going to... I'm not going to say the other composition is cheese. The other composition is high risk, high reward, high execution, and you're just not going to land those execution shots against the enemy team. We counted 2 total pulls, and your entire comp is built around those pulls. So it really goes to show that, like, you got to play against the opponent in front of you. You've got to understand. And again, that's just the danger of BO3 is that you come in with your tried and true strategy. Not in this neighborhood, bro.
And it was a little bit, like, it was a little bit different even when Cooper was playing the bebop, because you're looking for like that how does the bebop kind of fit in if you're not like landing those aggressive hooks. It's the defensive hooks that were fantastic there from Cooper towards the end of that game, and like you had so much initiative there out of Iowa State in terms of taking those fights, outlasting the ultimates that were being thrown at them. Death slams avoided, concussive combustion avoided, then you go in with your singularity of your own. Whether it works or not, like, you have the Qbert behind you to pull you out of that danger. And I think that communication, that strength to play together, and the communication there just really fits for this Iowa State team to be a really powerhouse here in College Deadlock. I mean, that is trust and coordination that you don't really see from teams a lot below those top seeds inside of College Deadlock. And the fact that they're putting it together and showing that those strengths is something that I think leaves a lot of promise for this Iowa State team to potentially go and upset some of those higher seeds later on in the season.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we show up here, right? Like, you know, Penn State shows up and they tested some of their strategies against the big stuff, and now they know how to improve and go on better. Again, if you guys, I saw a couple of people talking on Twitter or whatnot, just go ahead and make a club. There are some people that you can chat at if you want to get involved in College Deadlock. If you're at a school right now, you can be the guy. Just show up with 5 friends and make it happen. You know, everybody can go ahead and join, and you'll might get crushed, but then you'll learn how to do the crushing. So playoffs coming up next week as we kind of solidify our leaderboards, getting all things going on. Once again, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Fit Gamer. Much love. Go ahead and check out their platform as they help our platform out as well. I also want to give a shout out to our man Kashi behind the scenes by name. I asked for that schedule in a really weird way, and he gave it to me. So there's a lot of people that put things on. It's not just the pretty boys up here, a lot of people behind the scenes. And of course, y'all, thank you for hanging out. If it wasn't for you, we'd just be us. That's it for College Deadlock. We will see you for the playoffs. Peace and much love to you.
Long white beard and his crooked staff, he tramps along with the folks all left with a wrinkle in his eye as he passes them by. The old man of the mountain. Long white beard and his crooked staff, he tramps along with the folks all left with a wrinkle in his eye as he passes them by. The old man of the mountain. Long white beard and his crooked staff, he tramps along with the folks all left with a wrinkle in his eye as he passes them by. The old man of the mountain. Long white beard and his crooked staff, he tramps along with the folks all left with a wrinkle in his eye as he passes them by. The old man of the mountain. Sleeps with the stars for a tent, for the beast spread a feast when he's hungry, and God charges no man. He'll live as long as old or free and laugh at fools like you and me. Often sigh and wish that I were the old man of the mountain.